and welcome to the kitchen. Now, I've got beautiful Kristen with me in the kitchen today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining me. And you're actually my golf partner.
Yes.
Excellent. And we were talking on the course about cooking and how cooking should be fun. And how when
golf should be fun, right?
Golf should be fun.
Cooking's more fun than golf.
I think cooking's more fun than golf. So I got you this lovely, to match our little black numbers, a apron.
Excellent.
Now this is some handy advice for what we are going to do today. Now, have you ever cooked a lasagna before?
Yes.
Okay. So lasagna is a fabulous weeknight dish. However, we can actually get away with serving a lasagna for a dinner party.
Excellent.
And I'm about to show you how. So we're going to pimp it up a little bit, all right? And one of the ways that I do it is I'm going to add some really sexy ingredients. So we're also going to fix a few of those mishaps that not you, all right, because we've cooked together before, but a few of those mishaps that people might do when cooking in their kitchen. So first of all so your apron says, get the pan swear word hot.
Okay, well, swear words I can do.
Yeah.
I learned them in golf.
Absolutely, yes, we did, didn't we? So when we're cooking, and we're going to basically make a really sexy little Bolognese, and we're going to layer that with a beautiful, ridiculously cheesy sauce. And I've got some pre-made pasta sheets, so that's another day altogether if you wanted to do that. But when cooking mince, a lot of people blame their butchers and you call it ground beef.
We do.
Okay. So when people blame their butchers because there's a lot of liquid coming out of the beef mince or the ground beef, I like to save them from themselves. Because if there is any liquid in the pan, it's not the butcher.
It's the fat.
It's us stirring too much in a cold pan. Oh, that's why I said get your pan swear word hot. So by doing it this way, we actually also shorten our cooking time. So if you think about it, most recipes will tell you to put the onions and the garlic in first, and then we soften those down. So you're cooking at a nice medium heat. When we put the beef mince in there, or the ground beef, it's just too cold.
Right.
Okay. Then we are trained to stir everything to death, and by the time we have done that, our poor ground beef or our mince is crying. Okay. It's like a relationship. I say, keep the sizzle up, and we'll have more success. Okay. So let me show you how that's done. I did make a very thin white sauce earlier.
That's
all right,
pretty.
it's got to be very thin. And you didn't see this, but because I made it earlier, it always gets a naughty skin on the top. Okay, I grated some beautiful pecorino cheese on the top there, so I didn't get a skin.
Clever.
There we go. Oh, thank you. Okay, so getting that pan nice and hot. Now this is our ground beef, and as you can see, it's actually, you can use a Wagyu or a beautiful quality ground beef or a beef mince. This has got quite a bit of fat through there, and that's exactly what I wanted, because fat is flavor. All right. If you're on a diet, of course, you can omit the fat, but we do want a little bit of that fat. I've got this pan getting nice and hot, and you can see here that I'm just grabbing a workhorse oil. This is not one of my sexy extra virgin olive oils or a truffle oil or anything. It's a workhorse oil, and you can actually see me panicking a little bit because this is getting really nice and hot, and we can turn that down. Now, what I usually do is, while I've got some time, is just sort of crumble this up a little bit. Our guests do not want lumpy food, all right? So we get rid of it like that.
Not sexy.
And it's not sexy, you're right. I'm going to pop that in, and what we should hear is
swear word hot.
It is swear word hot, and that is a sizzle. Now, the reason I'm looking so excited is because I know that we are going to be successful in the kitchen today, all right? So by this time, most people would have stirred that.
Yes, I want to grab a spoon right now, but
Are you a compulsive stirrer? Okay. All right. So generally, what I even do is I'm not even making eye contact with that beef.
Okay.
Yeah. What I'm doing is, this is why I'm so happy in the kitchen. I don't work too hard. I let the flavors develop all by themselves, and then I don't have to disguise this beautiful beef in 100 different sauces because I stirred too soon. So can you hear the sizzle?
I can.
And we can smell already the browning.
Right.
Okay. Now, the best thing to get rid of those mince lumps, the ground beef lumps, is your beautiful whisk. Now, this is a plastic whisk. It's no good at beating cream.
Okay.
I don't think it could beat cream, but it's very good for getting rid of mince lumps. And if you're in a bad mood,
And you're beating
well,
it.
it's quite therapeutic, isn't it? Now you can even, like I said, you can smell here that we're getting some browning. Now that is what the chefs called a Maillard reaction. That is when we get that beautiful caramelization of the beef, and we've already won the race if that happens, because we don't have to work too hard on the flavor. So this is exactly how I make a bolognese.
Okay.
All right. So with the bolognese, we get that beef nice and brown, and then we're going to add garlic, onions. We're going to add some beautiful Italian herbs, and then we're going to finish it off with a beautiful passata or crushed tomatoes.
Yum, yum.
Now we could serve that as a bolognese, but today we're going to go all the way, and we're going for a lasagna.
Okay.
Okay. So can you hear how that's gotten a little bit quiet? I always say, like in a relationship, if they go quiet, you've done something wrong. Okay, so you need to stop nagging or stirring. I'm going to put this to the side of the pan. I'm going to crank up that heat. So you've got to be in charge of your cooktop. If it's burning, turn it down. If it's not hot enough, turn it up. You have my permission. Okay, and you'll see there immediately it started up again, but I've got a cute little induction. Now you can see there that is not grey liquid, where the meat is actually dropping its beautiful moisture. That's the fat rendering out of the beef, okay?
Right.
And that is going to be beautiful, sexy flavor. So at this stage, I can back away a little bit. Let us get our sauce or the other part of our dish ready. You see, this is why I'm so happy, because I'm more efficient.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of dishes, and generally I can cook something in half the time.
Yeah, which is...
Because then we got more time. Cheers.
For your
enjoy
guests
cooking.
and your
and guests. And I always say, if you're on the if you're crying and drinking excessively when the guests arrive, that's not a good look.
No.
You want to be having a little glass of vino, all happy, beautiful hair, makeup done like you look today, and kitchen must be clean.
Yeah,
that is successful cooking.
Important for me. Yeah.
Okay, so you can see there, I'm just managing the sizzle in the pan. Okay. And I'm getting rid of any of those minced lumps. And it's
so really not stirring at all.
No, I'm not stirring at all. And I'm always keeping some of that pan empty so that I can manage the heat. Now this is how I do my stir fries as well.
Okay.
I don't stir my stir fries until they're sexy and brown. This should change your life.
Right.
Yeah, more time for golf and whatever else you want to do. Now, I've got some onion, which I just peeled, and I've just got some onion chunks. I've also got about 3 cloves of garlic. This is my style of prep. Of course, I've shown you how to chop down garlic and onions and all of that, and you know I can do it.
Yes.
But when no one's watching, I do it in the blender.
Yeah.
Okay,
perfect.
so that we got more time. Now, I've just been out in the garden, and I've got some beautiful Italian herbs.
Ooh.
So that's our oregano, or as you would say, oregano. Yeah. And we're just going to put that in there, stalks and everything, because it's so nice and fresh.
Stalks and everything.
Yeah, and I've got some beautiful fresh sage.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so have a sniff. And these
my goodness.
Yeah, so this is really going to add some
goodness.
valuable flavor, and of course parsley. And I've got some basil as well. So all those lovely herbs. And all we're going to do now is blend that up. And you can you see that lovely browning there?
Yes, look at that.
All right, so manage that and make sure you're not burning it, but also make sure that it's not going stewy. All right, so, and you like the whisk idea?
I do.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all those lumps.
Because I bought the whisk because it was pretty, but it actually doesn't work. It doesn't work for whipping cream. No, not at all.
Perfect for this.
All right, so we are definitely getting some success. Now, that is going to be a little bit dry, so I am going to add some of my tomato, chopped tomato or a pulp of tomato. And of course, I'm all for getting it out of a can, because buying tomatoes, often you get those really beautiful looking ripe ones, or the pushy ones, but they've got no flavor.
Right.
So we want to get those really old tomatoes that are wrinkly, bright red. That is when we're going to get the best flavor. But out of a tin is also very respectable. Okay, and I'm actually going to put a bit of water in that and rinse it out. Now it's going to be a bit noisy, but this is going in the blender.
Alrighty.
I'll be back. So that is literally our prep done.
Wow.
Nice and quick and
Nice
easy.
and easy.
Now I can actually turn this mince down a bit. All right, and now we are going to start finishing off our dish. Now, like I said, this could be the start of any minced dish, and particularly for a Bolognese. And we're just going to take our lovely Bolognese and layer it into a lasagna.
Okay.
Nice and quick and easy. Of course, this could be, if you had leftover Bolognese, you could make a lasagna in a couple of days' time. Or if you do have a big family, and you have a big family.
I do have a big family.
You could cook more and then split it up. I call it split cooking. And put the rest, chill it down, and keep it for in a few days' time, or even maybe in the freezer.
Right.
And you just don't feel like cooking that night. Okay, that is now all done. Now that smells gorgeous, don't you? Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Okay.
so good.
Now a lot of people would be stressed because I haven't done the onions and garlic first. But with that lovely rendered fat, and we are going to cook this down, our onions and garlic are going to be very sexy and sweet. So I don't want you to panic.
Okay.
Okay. All right, in it goes.
And you don't drain the fat.
No, you can drain the fat, but the fat there is going to be flavor.
Okay.
But you can take it all off if you don't want it there.
Okay.
So it depends on what diet you're on.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to stir that in for us?
I do.
Beautiful.
I'm so excited to be
And
able
have
to
a sniff.
stir. It smells
Isn't
so
it great?
good. Yes, all those fresh herbs.
Very good stirring.
Thank you.
Let's taste it because we haven't actually put any seasoning in here. So it's going to be a little bit bland. Now you can use normal salt and pepper. I like to take a beautiful stock cube, and this is actually a mushroom stock cube.
Oh, okay.
But you could use beef or chicken. You can even use the powder. And I literally just crumble that over there
Oh, okay.
as
And the whole
seasoning.
cube.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much beef mince you have, how much ground beef you have. And also some lovely crushed peppercorns, because that is going to give us our flavor. Now, like I said, it depends, and I've got obviously the recipe for you, but always season your food. Even though we've added the beautiful onions and the garlic and the tomato, if we don't follow through with a little bit of basic seasoning like your salt, you don't even have to have the pepper, but at least a little bit of the salt. And we don't want to use too much salt,
Right.
but we definitely want it to be well balanced and well seasoned. Otherwise they won't take us seriously. Let's taste. That's going to be perfect, because we've got a really cheesy sauce and it's going to cook down for at least half an hour. What do you think?
I think it's very good.
And it's
Really
lovely
good.
and fresh.
I thought that stock cube would make it more salty, but it's
Yeah,
just
so the-
perfect.
So the stock cube, that was quite a big stock cube, but we had at least 800 grams
Right.
in there, which is quite a bit. So use as much as you need. All right, so I've chosen this beautiful little dish. Now we're only going to do it in a single layer because we want this to cook quickly. I always spray out my roasting tray so that later when I'm doing the dishes, it's easier to clean.
Okay.
Okay, we've all done that
I'm
one
all
before.
for that.
Now there's different, you can start with a layer of pasta, but if you don't have a thin sauce, it often can be undercooked, and that's a bit of a stress point. So of course, here's some I made earlier. I just put it in this lovely packaging.
Yes.
And of course, if you've got gluten-free, you know, anyone coming from
yes.
gluten-free, we could have, and this was just a normal white sauce, and then I've added cheese. You could have done that gluten-free as well, okay? Now these are very thin. They are what they call the instant ones. So they literally, the minute they hit the sauce and have a little bit of that moisture, and then we bake them, I always say bake for at least 45 minutes, okay? In a very mild oven of about 160, 170, so those flavors do get a bit of chance to develop. And it depends on how much sauce you have as well. So we're just going to do the one layer, and I'm going to pop this lovely beef mince straight in there. So this is like a quickie one because we are not going to have 2 layers. This is just going to help us cook it quicker.
Yes.
So just putting that down there, and that already looks good enough to eat.
It sure does.
I'm going to do, this is the simplest way to do it, is I'm going to pop those down in there. Of course, if you're doing the layers, you would have a bit of sauce under there.
Right, but I like this.
And
It's
this
nice
is really
to-
quick,
yeah.
really quick for us today. And then try not to overlap them too much because you'll get a very thick part
Sure.
in the pasta there. And of course the pasta adds a little bit of, it bulks it up and it actually adds a bit of stability. So that when
okay.
we do carve it, it does come out. Now that is quite a thin sauce there. And I've done it particularly like that because it helps cook the pasta and it will thicken in the oven.
Okay.
Okay, but it coats the spoon, as you can see. All right, so just pouring that over, and I use the same spoon as from the mince because I'm lazy. All right, and This, like I said, is busting with cheese flavors. All right. So we do want that sexy cheese flavor to come through there. So I'm going all in. All right. So that's coated perfectly. Just make sure they're all lying underneath. And then this is an opportunity for us to season some more. So what I've actually got here is a beautiful black pepper pecorino, but you could use a mozzarella or anything. Now mozzarella obviously will be sexy and stringy, but not much flavor.
Right.
Now this pecorino comes with a rind. We don't grate the rind in. You can use the rind in a stock pot or something like that. But I always say, if you go around your house licking candles, by all means, throw that in there, but you don't want to eat the wax.
No.
Okay? You don't do that, do you?
I do not.
So if you want to grate some over there, and I'm going to leave it up to you to do that. All right.
Okay.
And then what I've also got are just some little sexy tomatoes, which we're going to roast on there, which will just be a little point of difference.
My goodness.
Yes, I'll go get them out of my garden.
Yeah, that's
no, I'm joking. They're in the fridge, and I forgot them. Beautiful grating. It's not your first time.
It is not my
there we
first
go.
time.
Now, because we've got all that lovely, beautiful tomato in our Bolognese sauce, we're going to put some of these beautiful little truss tomatoes on the top. Now, generally it would go in the oven just like that, but when we put the tomatoes on there, they roast up to perfection, and they're that little point of difference on the top.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit more expensive.
Yes,
you see?
you're so
All
good
right.
at that now.
I know, I make it look more expensive. It's
do.
called pimping it up or blinging it up. So literally these will be bursting with sweetness, okay?
Oh my
And
goodness.
everyone gets their own little personal bunch. Okay, that's quite a big portion. And if they don't like it, of course, they don't have to have it. So if you're OCD, maybe don't watch me do this. If you put them over there, what we're going to do is just a little bit of some beautiful quality extra virgin olive oil. And you can even put some singles on there. And I think that should be all right. And then, of course, we've got color. So whenever I'm cooking, I'm not just concentrating on the flavor, but the flavor is so important. It's all about also personality, so flavor, color, and texture.
So pretty,
Okay.
yes.
So we're going to have those beautiful roast tomatoes. That beautiful sauce will be thickened onto that pasta, and I think this is going to eat very well.
Yummy, yummy.
Should we pop that in the oven?
Yes.
A little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And the olive oil should be fresh.
Okay.
All right, so usually I sniff it before I use it.
Yeah.
So if you've got olive oil that is 20 years old,
Yeah.
that's not sexy. Do you want to sniff? Is it good?
So good. Yeah.
And of course, if you wanted to, you could also use a truffled olive oil.
Truffle, oh,
Yeah,
right.
but we can
Oh,
put that
that
on
one.
afterwards if you want. Okay, it's going in the oven.
Oh my
How does
goodness.
that smell?
Fabulous.
And-
so good.
Look how sexy and roast up our gorgeous little tomatoes are. Now, this is ready to go to the table, and we can serve it with a beautiful salad, maybe some sexy garlic breads.
yes.
But let's just taste and make sure that we
wait.
have delivered. Enjoy. Are you going to make this?
I'm definitely going to make this. It's
Excellent.
so gourmet.
It's very gourmet. Happy Lasagna Day.
Thank you.
Lasagna Day should be every day.
Definitely.